One day, while walking Highway 95 Northwest towards the top westernmost corner of the map, we get ambushed by the Legion.
Time to get even.
Once the Legion are dead, we spot some buildings off to the northeast. Don't think I've ever seen those before. After looting the corpses, we can head that way. The wonders of Robco technology tells us that there's a settlement this way. Sure enough, as we get closer, we see the remains of a farm. This is the Brooks Tumbleweed Ranch. The most prominent building here is the Tumbleweed Ranch House. Heading inside, we find an interior that's strikingly reminiscent of the Regulator's HQ back in Fallout 3. And in the living room by the couch, we find a tumbleweed. How did this bad boy get in here? The cool thing about tumbleweeds in this game is you can interact with them. We can push it around like a ball. There's a hallway to the southwest where we find lots of crates, most of which are inaccessible. One sunset sarsaparilla crate, a first aid kit, a variety of boxes to loot. There's a kitchen/supply room to the northwest. Here we find 4 shelves, a cabinet, and a locker filled with scrap. The best thing we find here are a couple of stim packs. But of note, everything here is set to owned, which means we will technically be stealing if we loot any of this. But this is impossible. Who could own all of this crap? Surely the Tumbleweed Ranch has been abandoned for hundreds of years. What makes this even more frustrating is on one of the shelves we do find some bottle caps, including a Sunset Sarsaparilla Star bottle cap. Heading upstairs, we find the primary bedroom, and in one of the beds is another tumbleweed. We find a foot locker, another shelf, but again, everything is set to owned. In the final hallway, near to the dining room table, we find a ruined locker with a copy of Lying Congressional Style. This is one of only 6 copies of the book in the entire game. One of only 4 in the base vanilla version of Fallout New Vegas. So yeah, a bit of a bummer that we have to steal to get it. But who lives here? Who is the owner? Well, we didn't find anyone inside, so heading back outside, we can explore the ruin. There's a ruined silo, completely destroyed. We find it lying on its side. We can even walk inside of it. We find the ruins of the stump of the silo nearby. To the north, we see a fenced-off area. This must be the corral, but we don't see anything or anyone inside. However, disturbingly, just outside the gate to the corral, we find a big puddle of blood and a trail leading inside. Well, there's nothing for it. We have to step in. Heading inside, we don't get very far when...
You want to buy Wind Brahmin?
Ah! Where did you come from?
Right here. Where did you come from?
Wind Brahmin? You mean the tumbleweeds?
What?
Oh, you're crazy, aren't you?
Crazy with low prices on Wind Brahmin. You buy one.
How much?
All.
All my caps?
They are very good, Wind Brahmin. All caps.
Oh. Okay.
Ha ha, stupid human.
With that, the Wind Brahmin rancher takes 15,579 of my bottle caps. But he walks away peacefully. This is a great opportunity to hear more of his flavor dialogue.
Why do you scare my cattle? Don't scare the herd.
What herd?
There, in the corral.
All I see are tumbleweeds.
Yes, the herd. Leave doggies alone.
The tumbleweeds?
Doggies. Careful, sometimes they escape and I have to round them up again.
This poor guy can't decide if they're Brahmin or doggies. At any rate, we can simply steal our caps back. In this way, he walks away peacefully and we don't lose anything. But now to check out what we bought, there's one tumbleweed here that's glitched. It's in the top center of the corral. We can bump into it, we can shoot it, we can hack at it. Nothing we do will cause it to move. But all of the others work. I found that the wind had pushed them into the northwest corner of the corral, but we can move them around. Alternatively, when he asks for all of our caps, we can say, no.
You not buy? Then you die.
On his body, we find only a rebar club and a stealth boy. We know from the events at Jacobstown that the Nightkin are a special breed of super mutant who suffer from schizophrenia. They developed schizophrenia by prolonged exposure to Stealth Boys. This side effect of Stealth Boy use doesn't appear in humans. It seems to be a super mutant side effect. But this leads to many instances in the game where we find crazed nightkin like this guy who seems to be disconnected from reality. And that's the full story of the Wind Brahmin Wrangler at Brooks Tumbleweed Ranch. 'Tis the season, and I'm away from the office for a while, so I whipped up a bunch of these Fallout minisodes to tide you over until I get back. If interested in my shirts, you can find a link to my shirt shop in the description below or by clicking here. If you like what I do and you want to support me in a more personal way, consider becoming one of my patrons on Patreon or a member here on YouTube. But more than anything, I'm just so glad you're here watching this video with me today. Thanks so much for watching, and I hope you all have happy holidays.